We fix it. Especially successful people. Successful people are uninterested in stealing because we'd rather everybody win and keep the friendship and keep the network and keep the positive organs and keep the good karma than make a little bit extra money. So it's amazing what you see in the world. And if you become a person who is happy and successful and can take care of himself and adopt struggles, you're going to start finding those other people who do the same thing, and then you're going to build a network and become fantastic. Live with men you're in competition with. So you and your friends need to have friendly competition at all times. Now, you need to meet your friends and you need to have banter and competition around things that matter. Who's got the most money? Who's worked hardest? Who's discovered XYZ? Crypto, stock, new way of generating income? Who's trained that day? Who has the most children? Put some actual competitions together that matter and start competing and being around people, because you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Everybody knows this. So why don't you get some genuine metrics that will improve your life? You won't have time to stand around cooking meals if you're friends with somebody who works out for 3 hours a day, for example, because you're going to need to find 3 hours a day to train to beat him, which means you're going to have to just eat that rotisserie chicken as you do squats like a man should. Live with men you're in competition with. This is ultra important, because you can measure yourself against your circle. If Tristan comes downstairs and says, I've done 1,000 push-ups, I will do anything it takes to do 1,001 just to annoy him, because I know that he then has to do 1,002. And pissing him off is worth it. It's always worth it. And that's why you need to have that kind of competition. Get your act together, get some genuine metrics, things that matter. And once they're all put together, you're going to live in a naturally competitive environment, which is going to increase your testosterone level. It's going to prevent you from doing a lot of dumb shit. And the competition one's great, because you can apply it to everything.
There are a lot of people who are going to get, kicked in the nuts and take a fall, and they're going to let it beat them down. Andrew's lost very important kickboxing matches. Did he quit fighting then? Did I quit fighting when I got my ass kicked a couple times? No, you don't. You just have to continue, because in life, there are only winners and losers. There are no participation trophies. There's no, stickers and everyone's invited to have a good time. Life is hard, and everyone in life is actually trying to play the same game. If you're a sportsman, there's a small pool of people who compete at kickboxing, professional soccer, and the bigger the pool is, the more difficult it is. Well, life is the only game where every single one of us 8.1 billion people is trying to play the exact same game. And the same game is, there's only so much money in the world. There's only so many resources. There's only so much happiness. I'm going to try to provide for my family as best as I can. And whether people say money's not important or is important, everyone's part of this game. So winning is very difficult. And you have to keep trying when you get kicked and you fall down. And that's the advice I give to every young man who listens to me.
People are afraid of accepting there's a problem, because then they know they have a responsibility towards fixing it. Yeah. And they don't want to do anything, one, because they're lazy, and two, because they're afraid they might lose. So they'd rather pretend there's no problem at all. And I think I often say to people in a lot of my videos about a lot of other subjects that it's not always the winning and the losing. It's the fighting in the first place. And there's plenty of men in history you remember who ended up losing in the end. Napoleon, for example, who still fought, which is why they mattered. It's not, if you're only going to fight when you're guaranteed to win, then no bravery is required. And you have to fight so that you can look back on your life and feel happy that you tried to do something when you knew it was going on before it was too late. Forget about the winning and losing for now. Focus on the fight. You must wait for the moment when the opponent's mind is scattered and strike without hesitation. If you do not overcome your tendency to give up so easily, your life will lead to nothing. Objectify your demons so you control them instead of them controlling you. Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your emotions, especially your impulses, or else you're going to lose yourself. You will only be found by the devil once you are lost, and he will lead you to hell. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by men who kept fighting when there seemed to be no hope at all. I think it's a good motto, perhaps, for life, for everyone who's watching this. I heard it during a boxing match, and I think it was between Evander Holyfield against some guy who's not nearly as well known. And Holyfield was losing, and then he starts swinging, hitting the guy. And the commentator said, "Suddenly the champion returns with initiative and vengeance." That's a good slogan for life. You should wake up, look in the mirror, and say, "Suddenly the champion returns with initiative and vengeance." That's a good way to start your day every single day.
Yeah, it is.
Initiative and vengeance to become the best possible version of yourself. It's very important. And this is the last piece of advice I want to give to people at home. If I've made a mistake in the past, it was the best thing, I believe. At the time, I thought it was the best thing to do. This is another thing about people. I get, it's kind of weird. On my YouTube channel, I talk a lot about like mental rigidity and these kind of things, right? And I get a lot of people messaging me and they're very like, look, I'm very depressed, but I've been watching your videos and I want to kind of think like you. I want to be happier, etc. I made this big mistake 2 years ago and I lost my wife, whatever. And I try and explain to them that if you did what you believed was best at the time, hindsight's a bitch, right? If you did what you believed was best at the time, then what are you mad for? Every mistake I made in my life, at the time, I thought I was doing the right thing. So I'm not going to be mad at past me. And every single bad thing that's happened to me, every single piece of trauma that's happened in my life has led me here. So if you're happy with where you are currently, then you have to be happy for every bad thing that's ever happened to you. Genuinely, right? If you look at your life now and go, I'm quite happy with where I am, then you have to be happy with every single shit day you've had because you wouldn't end up here any other way. You know, I wouldn't have grown as a man if my father didn't die. You learn a lot about yourself as a man when your father dies. So, of course, I wish my father was alive, right? But if I'm happy with my life now and where it is, you have to accept every shitty day and every single lesson. So yeah, I'm happy for all of it. The good and the bad, my friend. I'm smiling. I'm breathing. I'm alive. And there's a whole bunch of people out here in the world today who are not going to be breathing by the end of it. And there's a whole bunch of people out here in the world today who are going to have those distraught days we were talking about earlier. Something shit's going to happen to them. Their family's going to be in a car crash. As long as that shit ain't happening to me, I am smiling. You cannot depress me. You can't piss on my Cheerios.
Young people, a lot of men say to me, especially like, what's fun? And I'm saying doing what you're supposed to do and fulfilling your duty and being proud of yourself is fun. That's the only fun you need. You don't need the fun of trying to chase all this garbage and this hedonism and this black hole. That doesn't lead anywhere. You have to.
Yeah.
Until you get to a point where you realize, okay, this is never going to end. Am I going to continue to go down this path or am I going to turn around and just skip it all?
Right.
Because it only ends badly. And I think that's also one of the problems with Western society where the youth are obsessed with fun. If you look at other societies, the youth are not so obsessed with what's fun today. What's fun now? I need fun now. I'm bored. I want fun. You know, they're overstimulated, whatever it is. They're also selfish. They're also self-obsessed with how they feel. This teaching a whole society and teaching a large contingent of the youth that how they feel plays paramount over the world. If you feel sad, that's all that matters. Not, well, I feel sad, but it doesn't matter because I'm doing the right thing. I feel depressed or I feel stressed, but it doesn't matter because I'm dedicating myself. No. What matters is how you feel right now, which means they only want to be happy all the time. And if you're going to only chase happiness and you don't have any particular skills, you're going to end up just chasing hedonism, and this is where you end up. And it's insanity. I think one of the largest tenets of masculinity for the largest period of human time is ignoring how you feel and doing what you're supposed to do because you're supposed to do it. We feel things, but jobs must be done, whether we are happy or sad. And this is also disappearing from the world. I'm stressed probably 6 days a week. I'm pissed off 6 days a week. But things need to be done.
Right.
So you just have to do them. And when you have a whole contingent of the youth obsessed with only being happy, I think this is one of the largest reasons they can psy-up them so easily into doing insanity. And I guess it never used to be that way.
No.
It's actually interesting because I think humans, or maybe this is just me coping, maybe this is cope, but I think we're designed to struggle a bit. Because the closer you are to struggle, the more sensible you are. And gender roles all fix themselves in struggle, right? If you have 10 men and 10 women and they crash on a deserted island, the men do the man stuff, the women do the woman stuff. There's no discussion about gender roles because you're going to die. Right. So the men have to go hunting. The women are going to try and sew a blanket, whatever, because we're going to die now.
Right.
So we don't have time to talk about whose job's what.
Right.
Also, if you meet somebody who's had a hard life, they seem to be pretty wise.
Yes.
It's difficult to find someone who's had a hard life who's a total idiot. When you speak to these liberals or these morons, they've had very easy, soft lives. So I think humans are supposed to struggle a bit.
Absolutely.
And in the Western world, it's the age-old adage. I know it's overused, but hard times create good men create good times, and the good times create a bunch of weaklings, and they mess everything up. Yeah. These people have had too easy lives for too long. And you can apply this to nearly any of the societal ills that apply to the Western world. People have had it too easy for too long, and none of them know any struggle at all. I mean, I don't know about you, honest with you. Like I can almost crash my car 10 times. And I only slow down when I hit the tree. This is how I am. Like, I think that inside of the human psyche, sometimes you need to be shocked. You need to be hammered with something. That's just how it goes. Because until then, you're like, maybe I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, well, I got away with it.
Yeah. But when you finally learn your lesson, right? But there's a lot of these people out there who aren't being taught any lessons at all. And they're going to destroy society en masse because they've never had any kind of difficulty in their life. And what is life without difficulty in the first place? What is life? What is the point of life without difficulty? One of the things that's comforted me in all my garbage is actually, I watched one of your videos, and I was watching one of your videos a couple years ago, and I remembered it in jail. Because perhaps I'm wrong, you can correct me, but I don't think you regret any of the bad things that happened to you.
Not at all.
Because it makes you who you are.
Yeah.
I would genuinely say congratulations. If you're happy with that, and I know that's like a pretty normal setup. If you're happy with that, absolutely congratulations, and I don't look down on you. That's perfectly fine. But some men are just not born that way. Some men are born with something else inside of them, with a fire inside of them, which cannot be extinguished by beans on toast, TV at night, 9 to 5, sitting around with your wife. Some men are not satisfied with that. I know me as an individual, I could not be satisfied with that. That doesn't mean I look down on the people who are. Absolutely, congratulations. But my time on the planet, I guarantee, will be more eventful. I will die with more stories. I would have made a bigger ripple in space-time because I refuse to comply with just the average, this is okay, you'll be happy with this, take it. I think a man should have absolutely no interest in whether he's actually happy or not. If I wake up and I'm unhappy, I will do the exact same things as if I am happy. I will go to the gym the same. I will work the same. How I feel has no impact on how I live my life. I don't think happiness as an index is a healthy view for a man to have on life success. For a man, if you're waking up and going, am I happy? Am I not? You're looking at life wrong. I think of a man, if you put happiness if you move it down the scale, right? And you start looking at, am I successful? Am I competent? Am I achieving things? Am I respected? If you start to look at these indicators of your life, you're going to end up being happier without actually analyzing if you're happy or not. So for me, I understood very, very well that $500,000 a month is good, but $1 million a month is better. And I also very, very much understood that as soon as you stop pushing forward, as soon as you go stagnant, you're dying. Right? As soon as you stay in one place, you're slowly on the way down. Bro, if there was a golden tap, that unlimited money, and you had buckets, and you took one bucket of money, would you just take that bucket, or would you run back and get another bucket and run back and run? I couldn't stop. I couldn't sleep. I remember walking to sixth form college. I was 16 or 17 with my 4 friends, and a Ferrari burnt past us. I said to my boys, I was like, man, how'd that guy get that car? And they're like, don't know. I was like, doesn't that annoy you? I'm like, why would it annoy me? Because we're going to school, our parents are on council estates. Like we're trying to scrape 20 pounds a week to eat. This dude has $400,000 for a car. Doesn't that aggravate you? Doesn't that show you that there's something about the world you do not understand? That you're missing something? And they're all like,
I'm never immersed in happy emotions either. This is something I want to talk about because I've had days, in fact, yesterday, Tristan said this yesterday. Most people's best day of their life isn't my average Tuesday. The best day of most people's life isn't even my average Tuesday. Yesterday, I wake up with a woman on either side of me. I wake up, I go downstairs, my servants bring me breakfast. I train outside in the garden. I send the 2 women away so that one of my mothers with the child can come over. We play in the pool for half an hour. I then go to a meeting and I walk away with about $11 million. Then we went into Gal, which is a restaurant at a dress downtown. I was sitting there and I ordered a $900 tomahawk steak. And Tristan said to me, Andrew, you just pulled up in a Bugatti Chiron to one of the most famous restaurants in the world and ordered a $900 steak. I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah. And to us, it's just lunch. It's not a birthday. It's not an anniversary. We just had a few hours to waste before the next meeting. So everyone at Gal takes pictures with us because we're the most famous men on the planet and we eat our steak. Then we get back in our Bugatti and we drive to the final meeting of the night. I didn't eat for that one because I'd already eaten. Had some coffee, went home back to my mansion where 2 different women are in my room. That's my day. At no point during that day am I like, yes, Bugatti, yes, women, yes, money. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. The 11 million didn't make me happy. It didn't make me smile. I was like, T, money, fist bump. On with the day. The ship is in the ocean. I'm the drone. I'm watching it. It's a calm, nice ocean this day. It was a good day. And the ship is in the ocean and the sun is shining and there's seagulls landing on the boat and the pirates are having a great time and they're, sunbathing. But I'm not on the boat. I'm watching the boat. So I don't get fully immersed in the negative or the positive. So although I have days like I've just described, which is my yesterday, which is better than anyone who's watching this is best day ever, none of it matters. I don't care. I'm just a winner and I'm winning because what else am I going to do? Winners win. So when I see people who get very happy over nothing, I also know that they get very sad over their problems. So I don't feel jealous of them. People say to me, but aren't you jealous of people who are happy? Because they get happy with simple things. Aren't you jealous of the man who's happy with simple things? No, I'm not. Because when he hits stormy seas, he's fucked. When I see people in a crowd at a festival amongst other sweaty peasants with ketamine BO, jumping up and down, screaming because a song they've heard 10,000 times before is now being played through a bad quality sound system. And they're jumping up and down. Yeah, yeah. I sit and I think, I didn't act that way when I made $11 million in a single lunch. I didn't act that way when I had 200 million in the bank. I didn't act that way when I became the most famous man on the planet. I didn't act that way when I was 4-time kickboxing world champion. I didn't act that way when they released me from jail. I didn't act that way when I got released from 3 years of house arrest. I've never been that happy in my life with all of my amazing achievements. And you're screaming for a fucking song because you're an idiot. But I don't feel jealous of you. I don't look at you and go, oh, wow, simple things make them so happy, because I know the second these people have any kind of problems, they collapse into it. That's how they become depressed or drug addicts or crying their eyes out because their woman left them in their bedroom. Anyone who is happy easily is sad easily. And I don't want to be on that spectrum because life is too turbulent. If I was the kind of person who lived on the boat as opposed to observe the boat, I'd be dead. Because my life is too up and too down. I can't do it. I don't think anyone can. So perhaps I've evolved to have the mentality I have because I needed it. But when I look at these people who are so happy or screaming over a football team, who the fuck cares? Who fucking cares? It's mind-bending to me that people can be so instantly emotionally affected by the asinine. It's amazing. And I feel pity for these people because I know when their problems come, this is when they're going to collapse. I don't want to sound like a nutcase, Rob, but I am psychic. I am psychic. I'm telling you. I told you earlier about my dad. I am psychic. There has been 20 to 30 times in my life where I have predicted the future. And I put it down for a long period of time to my unmatched perspicacity. Perhaps it is just the capability of putting together all the finer, tiny, unique details that everyone else misses. Just noticing every little thing and putting together the picture and analyzing my whole interesting history so that I can, because what is predicting the future? It's based on the past. That's what the scientific method is. If you put this chemical and this chemical together, you get this compound. So we can predict the future by adding these two chemicals together. We're going to get this because that's what happened every other time. So perhaps it's just analyzing all of history and paying so much attention that gives me fantastic capability of predicting the future. I don't know. Perhaps it's magic and I'm psychic. But there are at least 30 to 40 times in my life where I saw the future. And I saw the future with the police raid. We were here in Dubai with Tristan. We were sitting around the mansion. I've told this before. We're sitting around the mansion. We had 15 girls in our pool. We had the Bugatti we just collected outside. We were on the Palm in a $40 million house. Tristan said, we made it. We were in Luton 7 years ago. We made it. And I said, there's no way you can make it out that easy. They're not going to let us. Something big is happening. I've told that part. I haven't told the second part. The second part was Tristan's conversation of saying, well, what big is happening? What's going to happen? I said, I don't know, but I'm really, really worried. He said, why? I was like, I don't know. Then I got invited to America to go on some very, very big podcasts, and I declined them all. And said to Tristan, it's the story of Icarus. Too close to the sun. We're too big now. Then I did your podcast and said they're going to arrest me. This is like 3 days after I said to Tristan, they're going to arrest me. I didn't know you then, but you came here, so I felt secure. I didn't have to fly anywhere. But they're going to arrest me. They're going to arrest me. They're going to arrest me. Then Piers Morgan invited me on. And we had a long conversation with Tristan. I was like, Piers, is Piers Morgan Icarus? Is he too big? Is it going to piss off the Matrix too much? We debated it and we agreed to go and do it. I did Piers Morgan. Then I flew to Prague for 1 day. Then I flew to Romania to repack my bag to come back to Dubai. This was the night before the raid. I landed in Romania. I bought a bunch of Christmas presents in London for all my various girlfriends. So I spent about 5 hours, 1 hour each, of them coming in and out, getting Christmas presents off me because I hadn't seen them since I'd been in Dubai. And then one of the girls decided to stay. The last one, of course. I, funnily enough, ordered it that way. I chose her. Went to sleep. I was pretty tired. I've been flying all day. And at 5 a.m., I heard them busting my door down. I heard the noise and I grabbed my phone and I unlocked it and I wrote in the security group, because I have a security team at the house. I have 4 guys. I wrote in the security group, question mark, question mark, question mark. And I put that down and I picked up a machete from under my bed, the famous machete that they put in all my clips. And I stood up in my underwear just as they bust my door in, my bedroom door. And I'm standing there with a machete and they have these MP5s pointing directly at me. And when I saw the police, I said, thank God it's police. And I put the blade down. I thought it was the Albanians, the Serbians, the Turks. I've got enemies. I thought it was them. When I saw the police, I felt relief. I was like, thank God it's the police. I put the thing, I was like, thank God it's the police. Police bust all the way in, forced me against the wall, gun on my face. I'm like, guys, I'm not resisting. I'm glad it's you. I'm not here to fight. The girl was naked in bed. The police officer yanks the cover off the bed to make sure she isn't hiding anything, I guess. So she's completely naked. She starts screaming, hiding her titties, kind of like a movie. I'm standing there up against the wall, 5 huge dudes pointing guns at me. I'm like, guys, I'm not resisting. Fine. Anyway, she gets dressed. I go out. We go out to the living room. And the Romanian protocol is they put you in the living room. They put you on the couch in handcuffs. And you sit on the couch and then they search the house. So they put me on the couch in handcuffs and they began the search of the house. And the detective was there and I was like, what is this for? Why are you here? And she said, you'll find out. Very smarmy. And then I'd been sitting on the couch for about 2 minutes and then she came up to me and goes, where's the Bugatti? Why do you care about my car? Where is it? So why do you care about my car? I learned later that the prosecutor had been bragging that he'd be the first prosecutor in history to seize a Bugatti in Romanian history. But they really want this car. Anyway, what was interesting is the girl who I'd slept with, the girl who the police officers exposed, show her tits, drag her out, scampily dressed, handcuff her, throw her on the couch. She's now in my file as a victim, by the way. So this girl who was sleeping next to me is considered a victim. Who's she a victim of? Me or the police? Because the police are the one dragging her around in handcuffs and fucking making her show her tits to a bunch of full-grown men in masks. They didn't ask her if she's okay. The police officers, when they just say, I thought it was human trafficking. There's a girl in my house. They didn't say to her, are you okay? Did he hurt you? They handcuffed her and threw her on the fucking side of the room and said, where's your cars and money? I thought she was a victim. It's always been about money. They didn't give a shit about her. Then later on, they write in there, Andrew's so mean to her. And then me and her are going to court saying, no, the only person who's mean here is the police. The police were mean to me. She's saying to the judge, Your Honor, the police abused me. Andrew's never touched me. Biggest setup, psyop garbage in the world. They never give a shit about her. They didn't give a shit about any of the girls. It's all just made up. But to answer the question, when I saw cops, I was relieved. I was relieved. I was ready to make the final stand. So in jail, like I said, there was probably only 3 physical things that happened. One was I was walking in the hallway and I bumped into a guy and I said, sorry. And he ignored me. And I stopped where I was walking and I turned around and said, brother, I said sorry to you. What's the problem? I said sorry. We bumped into you. I said sorry. Why are you ignoring me? And then he kind of reluctantly went, and walked off. And then someone told me later he's in there for murder. But he never said anything again after, and he was fine with me afterwards. But he was in there for murder, and a lot of his brothers were in the jail. I don't know if that made him respect me more or less. I guess it probably made him respect me more, but I was very polite to the guy. It was his fault we bumped into each other. I said sorry to be polite. Don't ignore me. That was on day 2 or 3. So I made it very clear from the beginning, if you want to fight me, I'm going to fight. Which I think was very helpful for our stay. Next, there were some gypsies by the washing machine, like 4 of them. And they were talking and being very rude, and they'd taken my laundry and thrown it on the floor. And when I came to pick up my laundry, because I left it in the machine, I said, why did you put it on the floor? Why you didn't put it up here? And they started threatening me in Romanian, making fun of me, not knowing. And I asked them if they want to learn the secrets of yoga fire, which of course confused them. They didn't have a clue what I was fucking talking about. But after I stood there asking that, and I left a nice long 30-second pause, and they all just kind of stood there, and I just stood there. That was the end of that conversation. They all stopped talking, and I took my laundry, and no one put my laundry on the floor. And then the third was with a guard, actually. I called him Trash Baby. Because jail's a funny place. You find things funny that aren't really funny in jail because you're so bored. Anyway, we had a room inspection every night at 6 p.m. I had my trash can near the front door, and he opened the door to my cell, and my trash can was in the way. So he got very angry, furious. Why is your trash here? And kicks the trash all over the cell. I was like, bro, it's just trash. Chill. Don't put it here. Da, 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 da. I was like, all right, Trash Baby. I'm down. It's fine. so Tristan goes, Trash Baby. It's a good name. So then after that, every single day we'd put the trash can near the door. And every single day he'd open it and kick it across the room. And it became this Mexican standoff. After like 4 days of him opening it and kicking the trash can, he realized we were just making fun of it. Like, Trash Baby, how are you? We were very polite to him. Oh, and he'd kick the trash. He'd go, it's a good kick, Trash Baby. It's a good one. And then after he'd leave, we'd clean it up. And on day 5, when he opened it up, he said, he threatened us. And he threatened us with physical altercation. And I said, if the trash really upsets you, sir, I'll make sure it's somewhere. No problem. Yeah. No, I understand that the trash is upsetting you a lot. So we're going to move the trash can. And then we moved the trash can. When he came in the next day, he said, look, we moved the trash can for you. Hope you have a great day today. And that was the end of Trash Baby. Even though we moved the trash can, I kind of feel like we win. Somehow. We won. And we made fun of him forever. It was hilarious. We still say Trash Baby to this day. I think a couple days ago, Tristan was calling someone Trash Baby. So it's funny. It's funny. So you can win with kindness. So those are the 3 almost physical scenarios I had.
Right.
And the rest of the time was pretty. When I was in Dubai before I got arrested, like I described, I was here doing my UAE residency. When you do a UAE residency, you have to have a full medical. When I had my x-ray on my lungs, I identified a spot on my lungs. And when I went to get my UAE residency, they said, there's a spot in your lungs, you should have it checked out. And I was like, Laker base. Because I knew it wasn't cancer, because my chi is too high. So I can't get cancer. Impossible. So I knew, like, Andrew Tate doesn't get cancer. I'm Andrew Tate. I know this sounds crazy, and I'm not talking about it from arrogance. I'm just talking about it from, I'm psychic, and I can see the simulation. I know how this all ends. I don't die of some stupid lung. I smoke all day, every day. I fight 60 people in a row. I'm fine. So smoking doesn't affect my lungs. They're built different. So I knew it was going to be okay, but I didn't have time for it. So when I was in jail, I thought, they have to give me medical care because I'm in jail. Now's a perfect time. I mean, I've nothing else to do. Now's a perfect time to waste time and get out of my cell. So I went to the doctor and said, yeah, the Dubai people said there's something wrong with my lung. I need to be checked urgently. And the doctor's like, no, you don't. It's like, yeah, I do. Call my PA, call my lawyer, and we'll get you the medical records. You have to take me to a hospital. That's what a car ride. Yeah. I'm bored. Yeah. I'm in jail. So anyway, I go to this hospital. They scan me and they go, yeah, we don't know what it is. It might be a problem. I was like, there's no way it's a problem. It can't be a problem. They're like, it might be. We need to do a lung biopsy. I said, well, how does that work? I'm like, well, basically, it's a CAT scan assisted lung biopsy. So we put you on before that, they said we need to do what's it called? Bronchioscopy, something. They put a camera in your lungs. Have you ever had that? They said to me, like, we have to put a camera in your lungs Normally we put people asleep for this, but because you're a prisoner, we can't put you asleep. Like, how the fuck does that work? Ask the Romanian law. So like, we have to do it while you're awake. Like, cool. This will be fun. So they sat me on a chair. They had a man either side to hold my hands down because when they put the camera down into your lungs, when you start coughing, you try and rip the camera out. So they held my hands down and they gave me some spray in my throat and they put the camera into my lung. And obviously I've never coughed so hard in my life. And it's weird because you have to stop coughing for them to navigate the camera. So like you're dying, like choking, coughing, and then you have to gather all your power and like stop for like 3 seconds while they move the camera around. And then you just go back to like spluttering up and I had to take medication in advance to stop myself vomiting. Very displeasant. They completed that entire process. Took about 15 minutes of me nearly dying. And then they said, the spot is on the outside of your lung. It's not inside your lung. You couldn't see. So now we have to do a CAT scan assisted lung biopsy where they get a needle and they put it through your back, through your rib cage, and they take a piece of whatever it is and they bring it out through your back and through your rib cage. And the only way they can find it is by CAT scanning you. So they CAT scan you, put it in a few millimeters, CAT scan you again, put it in a few more millimeters, CAT scan you again, put it in a few more millimeters, as they dig through your back to get to your lungs to attack this outside of your lung and take a piece of it to biopsy. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went back to jail after the first procedure. And then they organized this CAT assisted lung biopsy thing. And I said to Tristan about it. And he's like, you don't really want to recover from an operation like that in jail. You sure you don't want to do it when you're out? Like, yeah, but when I'm out, I got stuff to do. Now's the time. I didn't realize I was going to be in house arrest for another 3 years, or I probably would have waited. But I thought I'd be out and I'd be out. So a week later, I went and had that done. And this is when all of the cancer news broke because I had a dark spot on my lung and I was going to the hospital for it. But at this time, we didn't know what it was. And I had a needle put through my back. It was quite interesting, quite flattering. In fact, the doctor said my back muscle is so thick, he had to use a little hammer to get it in. You know? He hammered through my back, got the needle through my ribs, and managed to attack this thing. And it turns out it's just a scar. We don't know where it's from. I had pneumonia as a kid, maybe something like that. But I had to recover from that operation in jail, which was unique. But by now, I'm with Tristan in a cell, so it was okay. And during this time, we had Trash Baby also. So, you know, we had entertainment. It was the Trash Baby days.
You created it.
Yeah, we had the Trash Baby days. I mean, laughing hurt my lungs a lot, but I couldn't resist. Every time he'd kick the trash can, he'd get so mad, trying to scare us by kicking pieces of paper around. People suck, bro. People suck. Like, people just suck. If I was a prison guard, I'd be the coolest dude. If I was a prison guard, if Top G's your prison guard, I'm like, hey guys, how are you? You good? Yeah. Well, I don't even know your case. I haven't read your case file. You probably don't even fucking belong here. Or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't care. You stab anyone? No. All right, safe. Bye. Have a nice day. Who gets upset over a trash can? Like, no wonder you've worked in a fucking prison for 50 years and can't find another job. No wonder you're a dumbass. You're an idiot. You're in jail more than me. You've done 50 years in jail. You just get to sleep at home with a wife who doesn't love you. Great. Like, you're in jail, not me. You're like, my life's great. So yeah, people suck.
Yeah, that's a mental trick. You have to rewire your brain. That's one of the things you have to rewire your brain to do. And the reason your brain needs to be rewired is because anyone who is watching this stream below the age of 30, your brain is already broken. And I'll tell you it's broken. I'll tell you why. Watch your friends when they're on TikTok. How long can they even focus on a video before they have to change? Half a second, a second, maybe. All of your minds are broken. You can't even focus on anything anymore.
You're right.
You are constantly distracted to the point where you can't even appreciate the good things in your life. You're distracted. Your minds are broken. You need to rewire your mind and resist the slave programming.
How?
They have programmed. I'll tell you how. First thing you have to do is identify it. You have to identify what is happening to you. I use my mind to break the trap. What I do is I allow my enemy to manipulate me on purpose. And then I use my mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators. I will sit on TikTok for a day and I'll just enjoy TikTok. And by the end of the day, I'll watch myself. How quickly I'm looking to be entertained, how little time I give a video, how fucked up I am. And then I'll blink and I'll cure my fucking brain. Okay. You must allow yourself to be manipulated and you must fix it. All of it. You just talked about not appreciating the things you have. Then blink and cure your brain. It's a conscious decision. You're letting other people control your mind.
It's all distraction.
The Matrix is trying to control your mind. They're very good at it. That's what they do to control all of us. You have to break the trap. If you cannot control your own mind, let me make this point because it's extremely important. If you cannot control your own mind, then you are just a feather in the wind of life, because your own mind is the only thing you can control. You can't control the weather.
Right.
You can't control other people. You can't even control whether your heart stops beating. You might have a heart attack tomorrow. You can't control anything besides what you think. If you cannot control your own mind, then you go through life with zero control, zero influence. You can't control anything. You're just a feather in the wind, waiting for life to blow you from happy place to sad place to happy place to sad place, completely hoping on the gods to be fortunate to you, because if any genuine discomfort comes your way, you're fucked. It is trained, like everything else in life. It is trained. So if you find yourself not appreciating what you have until it's gone, then you must blink and cure your brain. If you find yourself unable to focus or concentrate on tasks, you must blink and cure your brain. If you find yourself unable to go and dedicate yourself to something you don't want to do, you must blink and cure your brain. Because all of our minds have been under constant assault for years. The way the mind functions, the way people interact has changed so significantly in the last 10 years, you wouldn't believe. If you go to a party today, as opposed to a party 10 years ago, they look completely different. People are acting differently. People are on their phones now than ever used to be. Even now, people will go to places only to get an Instagram picture, even if they don't enjoy the place.
Wow.
It's all about pretending they're having fun as opposed to actually having fun. The entire paradigm of society and how we interact has now changed. Every single thing in the world is attempting to influence you. I'll give you another paradigm that people need to understand. I ask people have these beliefs. Doesn't matter what their belief is. Doesn't matter. They believe in something. I say, where did you get that belief from? And they don't know. Oh, well, it's just how it's supposed to be. We're just supposed to wear a mask, whatever it is, right? Where did you get that belief? Who told you that? And does that person have your best interests at heart? Think about it. Think about all the things you truly believe. Think where you learned it, and think if that person actually gives a fuck about you. Because the only thing you should be learning from is personal experience for people who genuinely care about you and love you. Most people are out here believing things and repeating things that were told to them by people who don't even fucking like them, by their enemies. Everyone's mind is fundamentally fucked. All of it. Look at me. I'm a guy who decided to conquer social media. I blinked. I cured my brain. I used basic indefatigability. I used perspicacity. I used compendiousness. I used my mind, and I focused, and I fucking conquered the world in a few short months. It's not difficult. There's just no competition because everybody's fucking distracted. They're getting distracted by this, distracted by that, watching fucking Netflix, jerking off to Pornhub like fucking jackasses. It's so easy to win if you can control your own mind. But it seems that nobody fucking can. And that's how the people who run the world keep the world running, because they have all the slaves exactly where they need them to be, permanently distracted and semi-depressed, working their asses off in jobs which will never satisfy them and never pay enough money. That's the Matrix.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a repeating cycle. Like people like get caught in it too. And the problem is too, schools like don't really teach the best things. I feel like
schools are designed to make you a slave. You're set up for slavery. Whole thing's a fucking scam. The education system's a scam. The judicial system's a scam. The medical system's a scam. Look at these last few years. You're living in Canada. You haven't learned that everything's a fucking scam? All of it. Oh, but don't worry. If things don't go my way, I'll get to go to court and have my say in court. Yeah, that's fair. We learned that doesn't mean a fucking thing. The law doesn't mean a thing. Your rights don't mean a thing. It's all a fucking scam. The only hope you have is to cure your brain, see the attacks which are coming from the Matrix, get a strong network of individuals such as the War Room, and then learn how to escape. Most people are so deep inside of their programming. What did Morpheus say in the Matrix? Most people are so hopelessly dependent on the system, they will die and fight to defend it. Most people will sit here and pretend that the world they live in is just and fair because they are fucking slaves, slave-minded. And to break the slave mind, to truly resist the programming, you have to understand what's happening to you. And this is only the beginning. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. But the basic answer to everything is you must control your mind.
I just like to think that what I do, I don't really have a plan as much as I have a life philosophy. So I try and keep everything I do is aimed towards X goal. So even when I first started my passport journey, instead of just going on holiday, I chose the country I was going to get the passport in. And then my holiday was a working holiday because my holiday was based around trying to get a passport. Do you know what I mean? So anything I do, I try and keep the end goal in mind. So people who know me say, Tate, your whole life is work. I say, yeah, it is. But I live a fun life. And I do what I enjoy. But every single thing I do has some kind of work tinge to it. It's not so much as having a plan. It's just a mindset and an attitude. I'm always constantly striving towards something. The idea of just relaxing completely, I'm quite fortunate because I don't find that appealing. People go, oh, I'd love to just relax on a beach. I can't think of anything worse than sitting on a beach. I'll be bored in 3 minutes. I can't do that as an individual. So maybe that's something I've learned. Maybe it's something I'm born with. But for me, it's always been goal, action, action, action. So with that in mind and a goal in mind, that's just kind of how I do it. But a lot of people, you're talking about making a plan, a 10-minute plan, but a lot of people don't even have a plan. A lot of the people are just waiting for their ship to come in. One day my ship will come in, and when it does, I'll buy a house and then, I'll go on holiday twice a year. Like that's their entire life goal. That's their life plan. And I'm not hating on those people because I need those people to serve me coffee. So that's fine. But because you do, right? There's no light without dark and there's no rich without poor. But I always had some kind of plan. Even when I was completely broke, I always had a plan. I always understood. I watched a TV show. It's an English TV show you would have never heard of. And it's a guy is stealing a university education. He's going to university without paying for it. And he walks into class and they say, who are you? And he goes, oh, my name's not on the list yet. I've just transferred from another university. They go, okay, no problem. Sit down. And he says to himself, the whole world is just people walking into rooms and saying things. And it's a stupid little saying, but that clicked with me. I was like, he's right. Government is just people walking into a room and saying things. Business, it's just people walking into a room and saying things. Everything is just people walking into rooms and saying things. So if I want to have money, I need to find the right room and the right people. That's what I wanted to do. So my life plan was always understanding I need a network. I put the war room together once I was already rich because the war room is what I was looking for when I was poor. When I was poor, I was trying to find a network of motivated individuals, some ultra wealthy, some on their way up, that I could join so I could learn and do what they do or network with them or help some of them and start to get my way up, but I couldn't find it. So I had to do it all the hard way by knocking everybody out and traveling the world and meeting rich people that way. But that's how I did it, fighting. But I've always understood that your net worth is your network, right? It's who you know, who you talk to, what you talk about. That's how the world works. That's how it's always worked. So I always had a plan. My plan was to network with the kind of people who are living the life I wanted to live. But most people don't even have a plan that goes that far. And that's not an easy thing to do, but at least I knew what I was trying to do. Most people don't even know what they're trying to do.
All I know, what I will say as a matter of fact, is this world is hyper competitive, especially as a man. Most men are walking through life and they don't realize that it's constant competition. And this is my point. If the world is truly that competitive, you do not have time to be depressed because it's a non-competitive mind state. You could be depressed for X, Y, Z, whatever. I'm not depressed. And I want the money you want, and I want the girl you want, and I want the status you want, and the car you want, and the house you want. And I'm going to get it, and you're fucking not. You're playing a game, and it's a competitive game, and you need to build a mindset that allows you to be ultra competitive. And if you want to sit there and say, no, I want a non-competitive mindset, then fine. You know what you call people who do not win competitions? Losers. Correct. Yeah, I think I had the best possible upbringing a person can have, which is good parents and no money. I didn't get famous or rich young, which I also thank the Lord for. I think a lot of these people who get famous online quite early, I think they miss out a lot of life.
It's not real life.
It's not real life.
It's not real life.
No, I had real jobs and I did real things and I was really broke and I was really on the bus and really trying to pay rent and doing real stuff for a long time. I always say I'm not rich. I'm a poor man with a lot of money. I always used to say that. And I don't want to brag or anything, but just because I get asked this question a lot, I've been extremely successful. I have hundreds of millions of dollars. In fact, I think our last valuation across everything we own we're almost at B now. So we're doing very, very, yeah. I'm a billionaire. Top G's a billionaire. So we're doing extremely well. That's the first thing. The second thing, it's great that you say that because I completely agree. Because if you're born with everything, if you're born with all this money, that you have no aspiration, nothing to actually grasp onto and trying to achieve, then money doesn't make you happy. But then
you can analyze this from another angle, right? We were just talking earlier, we can always pivot back to who the matrix are, who's in charge. So if you're born into a dynasty, let's say a banking dynasty, and you're born a billionaire, and you have everything you've ever wanted ever, and money has absolutely no value at all, and a brand new Ferrari doesn't mean a thing. You could buy one every 10 minutes for the rest of your life. And money doesn't make you happy. What's the one thing that's going to make you happy?
Controlling others.
Controlling others. Power.
Yeah.
Ego. So like, okay, well, money doesn't satisfy me. What makes me feel important? Especially if you're going to add in. Let's add in another angle to it. Let's imagine you falsely believe, because it is falsely, that you're somehow genetically better than others. You're from this lineage. You're better than the other people. And the other people, the serfs and peasants, are struggling for money, and you have unlimited money because you're so smart and your family's always been so smart. Okay. When I'm sitting there and saying to men, look, life as a man is shit. It's always been shit. It's never been good. When men wake up and say, I'm depressed and life is hard and I'm sad and I'm struggling right now, I say, okay, throughout history, men have always struggled. Happiness is for children and women. Name a time in history it was better to be a man. Was it better to be a man in World War II? Was it better to be a man on the Titanic? Was it better to be a man in the Napoleonic Wars? Was it better to be a man when you were sitting in Vienna and the Mongol horde arrived, ready to decapitate any male and enslave all the females? When's it ever been good to be a man? Building the pyramids, was that fun? It's always sucked. The only time being a man ever is good is if you become an exceptional man, which is even something feminists admit. Because feminists sit and complain about men and say, well, men have this, men have that. But they're talking about 2% of men. They say men have the best jobs. 2% of men have the best jobs. Most men carry trash. So you're talking crap. So everyone accepts that the best possible human experience that exists is the top 2% of men. Anything below that sucks as a man. You're better off being a chick. So what I say to men is, look, life's hard. It's always going to be hard. It's always going to suck. It always has. The only way to get out is to become excellent and perform at a level where your echelon is so high that you get to live this brand new experience. You need to become strong and smart and interesting and charismatic. You need to become rich, powerful, well-known, connected. You need to do it. A lot of people are obsessed with the idea of happiness. And especially as a man, I think that happiness can actually be a very destructive motivator. And when men sit and say, I want to be happy, I want to feel happy. To feel happy, a lot of the time, you're looking for temporary hedonism. To be happy, you want to get drunk or take drugs or do something stupid temporarily, and it's very short-lived. I think you should instead be looking as a man to say, I want to feel proud. If you choose pride over happiness, you're going to make decisions that you're proud of and that people around you are proud of, and it's going to be better for yourself and better for society and better for everyone who loves you, everyone you care about. If you're the kind of person who searches for happiness, whether male or female, in my experience, people who search for happiness end up doing hedonistic, temporary, stupid things. When I find men who search to feel proud of themselves, I want people to be proud of me, and I want to be proud of myself, and I want to be respected. They often delay happiness. They often go through very difficult things and build things which are beautiful or build things which are difficult to do. They often go to the other side of fear to feel that pride. I did it. I faced my fear. I did it.
Yeah.
So I think as a man, searching for pride or searching to feel proud is a pretty positive mindset for masculine achievement.
And I said, bro, you see that? And he goes, yeah, what about it? I said, doesn't that piss you off? I must be about 16. He goes, why? So this dude has 400 G's for a car, 400 grand. I'm walking 4 miles to college because my mom hasn't got any car. He has 400 grand. Do you think he works a job? Do you think he's fucking behind a counter somewhere? He knows something about the world that I don't know.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, he's rich. I'm like, yeah, I know. I didn't say he wasn't rich, dummy. I'm saying he knows something about the world I don't know. And I was intrigued and it angered me. I couldn't sleep for weeks. I was pissed off. Every time I saw somebody with genuine money, I understood that everything I was being told and taught and they were trying to make me believe just simply wasn't true. I was like, this is bullshit. None of these people are getting these things by following the path that the system is trying to make me follow. Yeah. Nobody, and everybody intrinsically knows this. If you go to if you're at BP, you're at a petrol station, and I pull up in my Lamborghini, nobody goes, wow, he went to school. Yeah. He studied hard. Right. Do they fuck? They're like drug dealer, gangster. And they do that because they know that the easiest way to amass wealth is to break the rules, because the rules are not designed to allow most people to make money. You can make money within the rules. Of course you can. But most people don't. Most people who follow the path Work, consume, die. That's it.
Yeah.
So I always knew the same thing as you, and I knew there had to be another way. I knew that just working for money was a paradigm that wasn't true. And then you understand making your money work for you, and you understand delinking your time from money.
Yeah.
You start learning to understand these things, but eventually you build a system, and you build an ecosystem like me. I have 60 or 70 people work for me all around the world, and things just happen and money just kind of appears as long as everything's well organized.
Do you think if you don't want to buy a jet and you don't want to buy a yacht, you're never going to need more than $20 million, really, because there's nothing to buy.
And you can rent the yachts and the jets.
You can charter yachts, you can charter jets, which is probably smarter anyway. I had a jet, I owned one for a few months, and I sold it. And the reason I'll never buy a jet again,
They can track it.
all these on Twitter are tracking them.
That's
Top
like-
G's jet. I'm not having it tracked.
Bernard Arnault, the LVMH guy, he just sold it now.
because I don't want everyone knowing where I am all the time.
Yeah.
You can buy a nice house in most places on the planet. You can buy 2 or 3 cars. You can buy some diamond watches. You can buy some nice clothes. And that's all there is to buy. What's actually kind of amazing to me is when I was poor, I thought if I got rich, I'd buy all this stuff. And now I'm rich and I can buy anything I want. And there's nothing to buy. There's nothing to buy. Clothes, I already have too many. My wardrobe's completely full head to toe. Don't wear most of them. Diamond watches, you get 10. How many do you really need? Cars, I have 28. I drive like 4 of them. Like, what's there to buy? Coffee, dinner.
Yeah, true.
There's nothing to buy. Like so the money is just about influence and power. That's all it's about.
People will constantly tell you to not talk in a way which is full of conviction. People do not like you to be arrogant and have an ego. This is the worst thing ever. Let me tell you a fact, the number one facet of a G mindset. Your life is never going to be worse if you walk through the world believing you are the fucking man. You wake up, you look in the mirror and go, I'm the fucking man. I am the man. There's no one on this planet who can do shit I couldn't do if I put my mind to it. I don't give a fuck how good you are at piano. If I decide to play piano, I would be better than you at piano. And I believe that. I don't just say these things, I fucking believe them. And when you go through life believing you really, really are the man, there are very few downsides. The downsides are everyone's gonna call you an arrogant, everyone's gonna call you arrogant, everyone's gonna call you a dickhead, everyone's gonna say he has a big ego. You're gonna lose a few loser friends. Who cares? What you are gonna gain is other people on the same path. You're gonna gain other people who think, yeah, well, I'm the fucking man too. This guy's the man, let's make some money. That's what's gonna happen. So the first thing you can do with the G mindset is you need to start believing you are the fucking man. Even if you're not the man yet, even before I was world champion, I knew I was gonna be the man. So I don't give a fuck. And I was happy to say that to anybody. When people called me arrogant and stupid and deluded, I just sit there and look at them and say, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna be the man. First thing you have to believe you're the fucking man, you can achieve anything. And when I say that, I'm going to say that again. You have to believe you're the fucking man, and you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'm not saying you can achieve anything easily. I'm not saying it's not going to take a whole bunch of work. I'm not saying it's going to happen quickly, but you have to believe you can achieve anything. I'll tell you something now. I don't give a fuck to be an astronaut. I don't care about climbing Mount Everest. You give me enough time to train, I will get it done. I know that for a fact because I know who I am as a man. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to be perspicacious. You need to understand that in this world, there's a whole bunch of people doing amazing shit that you are not doing. And that needs to piss you off. Because if it pisses you off, you become motivated all of a sudden. I was the only one who was pissed off when that Aston Martin was next to me and had my sales job. I was the only one who was pissed off when I saw that Ferrari drive past. Other people were not annoyed by it. And they're not annoyed by it. They're not driven to beat it. You understand? They're not driven to be where that person was. You need to be annoyed, and I'm telling you to be angry. Anger is a fantastic force. Like I said, the world tells you not to be arrogant, it tells you not to be angry. It's 2 things it tells you to do. Don't be arrogant, don't have an ego, and you don't have anger. You're a fucking man. You're a full-grown man. It's perfectly fine for you to be pissed off. It's perfectly fine for you to look around at your life, look at the girl you're fucking, look at the house you live in, look at the car you drive, and get pissed off and go, you know what, I want a hotter bitch. I want a fucking nicer house, and I want a faster car. There's nothing wrong if you take that anger and you direct it in the correct direction. This is the reason I stopped fighting now. People go, why do you stop fighting us? Because I fought and I went through hell to get everything I now have. I had nothing when I fought. I had nothing. And I wanted the life I now have. Now I wake up in one of my 3 mansions with one of my 7 supercars and one of my 15 women. What do I need to fight for? Like, people have different motivations for different things. Some fighters out there who fight for other reasons, you know? My motivation was I was pissed off at the world.
And now I'm not as angry as I used to be. So I don't believe I'm as good a fighter as I used to be. I'll still whoop some ass. I'm not as good as I used to be. So that's why I decided to retire early. But this is the second thing. First thing, leave it a man. Second thing, you need to get angry about your situation. And you don't own the home you're in, get pissed off. If there ain't a Ferrari on your drive, get pissed off. If you don't have 10 Playboy Bunny level beauties, get pissed off. And well, what the fuck? You need to sit there and realize, whoa. I have a few years of consciousness. And even less than that, I have a few short years as a young man. Because age will damage you. I mean, if you're a millionaire when you're 60, it's not nearly as good as being a millionaire at my age. I became a millionaire at 28. So you need to realize you got a few short years as a young man. You're fucking wasting it. You need to sit there and go, fuck, shit, get angry. Because getting angry, forced, directed anger is an extremely powerful force. These are the first two things you can do for achievement. Only person who gives a shit about your life truly is you. And if you don't give a shit, then you're fucked. But point two, get angry, you're going to start giving a shit very soon. And after you get angry, you need to realize that nobody is going to give you the things you want. It doesn't matter if Donald Trump is president or not. You use Trump for that, but it doesn't make a difference. No politician is going to make you rich. No one else is going to come along and say, I'm going to concentrate my effort on fixing your life. Nobody. You have to understand you're out here alone, absolutely alone. When you understand these three things, you start to see how a mindset comes together. Nobody's going to save you. You're fucked. It's totally down to you. Pissed off with your current situation and you want to change it. Plus you believe you can do absolutely anything. This is how I thought at 18 years old. Because at a very young age, when I had my prime resource of energy and power at 18, 19 years old, I understood those three tenets. I believe I can do anything. I'm pissed off I don't have the life I want. And nobody else is going to give it to me. These are three things you need to understand. If any one of these elements is missing, you'll never have the right mindset. The G mindset will never formulate if any one of these elements is missing. All three are absolutely essential. And the sooner you get your act together, the sooner you start to panic and worry and be concerned that you're 24, 25, you're not fucking rich yet. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who got a contract for fucking NBA, or their parents say they won the lottery, who knows what. There's 24 and 25-year-olds out there who are multimillionaires fucking the hot models. These Instagram girls with 3 million followers, they're getting dicked by someone and it ain't you. And that needs to piss you off. You need to get concerned. You get worried. You get, shit, I'm running out of time. You need to get some urgency in your life. Put these three things together. It's absolutely essential. It's the beginning of the G mindset. When you have these three things totally done, I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you what happened for me. So I became a sayer. So my brother used to say, you've become a sayer. And what that means is I made a pact to him that my word was unbreakable, strength and honor. And that if I said something, I meant it. So if I woke up to my brother and said, I'm doing 1,000 press-ups or I'm running 20 miles, I would do it. Because if I didn't do it, I'd feel like a dickhead. Because when you instill these mindsets, when your mindset changes, you start to be extremely accountable for yourself. No one's coming to save you. You're extremely accountable. So when you realize that your word is one of the few things you have on this planet, if you say things, you're going to start sticking to it. So then it becomes very easy to train. You say, I'm going to train every day this week. I'm going to train for 2 hours a day. As soon as you said it, it's basically done. If I say something, it's basically done. It's set in stone. If I say something, I'm going to do it. There's no way I'm going to say some words and speak them into existence on this planet. And then I'm going to be the kind of pussy who quits because it's too hard. If I say I'm going to do 10,000 push-ups, I'm going to do it. Because I'm the kind of person who sticks to the words he says. And this is another thing you need to understand with the G mindset. Be very, very specific with what you say. Because if you can instill your mindset correctly and you start to just say things, just start saying things. Then you hold yourself accountable. Say things you don't even think you want to do. Wake up and go up to your friend or your mom or whoever and say, you know what? I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups today. Say it to people. And they're going to say, no, you're not. So watch me. And then you have a choice. You're either going to succeed like a G or you're going to be a little pussy. You're going to quit at 310 because it's hard. What kind of man are you? That's a decision you need to do. If you're the kind of man I was, I'd say shit and I'd fucking stick to it. My brother said, you become a sayer. I used to train with my brother. He'd say, let's do 500. So let's do 2,000. He'd say, well, you've said it now, so we have to do it. It's like, exactly. I said it now, so now we have to do it. There is no surrender. We have to do it. This is another facet of the G mindset. This is number 4. You got to start saying shit, and your word has to be iron, unbreakable. I can never be depressed if I never slow down. Speed is extremely important. Speed defies gravity. How does a plane fly through the air and defy gravity? Speed. It's moving too fast to fall. If you're always attacking life, if you're always doing things, if you're always making more money, if you're always traveling the world, doing this, doing that, new car, here, there, new podcast, meeting James English, boom, boom, boom. If you're always doing things all the time, unhappiness can't catch you. But I also know that speed is a fantastic way to be happy all the time. I'm always looking forward to something. I wake up every day excited. I'll go do this today. I'll go do this today. I'll go do this today. And I very much